Let's just quickly look at the second portion of the poem, where in which he goes on little more about the concept of God according to him and giving us a clarity of it. And I say to mankind, be not curious about God, for I who am curious about each am not curious about God. Now he says, God is the best product that is there in the market nowadays. Many people who are using the name of God and making money. So he says, and also there are number of us, number of people, multitude believing in God and going after God. And they are searching God in everywhere. It is where that beautiful, good old philosophical man searched for God everywhere. But at last, when I turned to myself, I saw in me that kind of an idea. So, and I say to mankind, be not curious about God. Let's not have curiosity about God. Because why? For I who am curious about each am not curious about God. What you should be curious about, like me, Walt Whitman says, you should be curious about others, other people. Serving others is serving God. So that's the concept that he is conveying. Because God is within you and God is within the other. So you serve the other, you serve God. Don't search for God in everywhere, but so in the bracket, let's look at what is he trying. No array of terms can say how much I am at peace about God and about death. So once you have this profound wisdom or this mindset or attitude or this state of mind, then you would be at peace about the idea of God. You will not run after God. You will not run after God in any religion. You will not run after God in pseudo sages. You don't run after them. But it is you yourself who is finding out the God that is within you. Okay? So, and you will be at peace and you will not even fear death, because you are going to have a union with God. So you will not fear death. So that is his condition that he is telling us in the bracket. Okay, let's move on. I hear and behold God in every object, yet understand God not in the least, nor do I understand who there can be more wonderful, beautiful line over there. I hear and behold God in every object. So he goes on one more step further now. He says, I told you God is there everywhere. And I can hear and behold, I can see and feel God in every object. There is God in every, yet understand God in the least. But I am not able to understand God. I am not able to comprehend God, though I find God everywhere. I told you the idea of pantheism. So theologically we speak, this kind of an idea would be called as pantheism, P-A-N, pantheism or theism, T-H-E-I-S-M. Pantheism would mean seeing God in everything. But Walt Whitman conveys a pantheistic idea over there, but he says he's not able to comprehend God in all these things, though he can see and hear, etc. But he says, nor do I understand who there can be more wonderful than myself. So he says, what I wonderfully look at is my own self. Why should I wish to see God better than this? Then the last stanza would be, he's conveying to us, feel the self and feel the moment and feel the present, feel the now. Don't look back to your past, don't look forward with anxiously to your future, but be in union with your own self, that is the God within you, and live the moment. So that kind of an idea is given here. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? He questions. Because you can see God within yourself. I see something of God each hour of 24 hours, 24. And each moment, then in the faces of men and women, I see God. And in my own face in the glass, I find letters from God dropped in the street. And everyone is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are. For I know that wheresoever I go, others will punctually come for ever and ever. At the same time, a very theological and spiritual imagery that he is conveying. He sees, as I told you, this particular line would give you a sum up crux of this stanza. I live, move, and have my being in God. So he says, When I look in the glass, I see God in within me. I look at each men and women around me, I see God over there. And I find letters dropped from God in the street, which means everywhere and everything, there is a signature of God that is left. Yeah. You take a small creature and an ant you take, open the head. Can you open? No. If you open, you're killing it. And imagine how profound is the function that is happening in the brain of a ant. So how great is the signature of God in these little creations that we see around. So he says that, and everyone is signed by God's name. He says everyone is signed or sealed by God's name, and others will punctually come forever and ever. So, though all of us are signed and sealed by God's name, have and got enlightened and realized that there is God within me and in others, and there is the sign of God, and I am in union with God, and I live, move, and have my being in God. So that is why he says towards the last end, I am sure wheresoever I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. Once, when they realize, they would also follow the same path. So the profound spirituality that he has found, the others will follow once they have realized this idea or the wisdom that we are speaking about. Okay, so that is the whole section of the poem, A Song of Myself, section 48.